All right, so we've got this system that's holding in place. How are we going to spring you forward? As I said before, we need to spring because it creates space to slice. The faster the leg goes from here to here, the more power I'm going to have to go that way. If I can get up here, like, do I have a better chance of knocking someone out from here or from here? From here, right? I'm not Muhammad Ali or Bruce Lee where they said they could knock you out with 1 inch. Can't do that. Thank you. So the spring is actually creating space to lift my mass up so I have time to bring that leg down and through. And that's accelerating and that's at max velocity. They're both the same. You've got to create space to bring that leg through. Once I've brought that through, I create a whole bunch of energy that can be returned through my tendons and ligaments. If you are a tendon and ligament runner, you do really well. It doesn't cost a lot of energy, which is why you're great at the end of a race. These muscle guys that shake themselves apart by the end of the race, they're not using any of that energy. They're using all muscular strength. And when I spring, the inside of my heel is going to tell you where you're projecting to. So you've got to make sure that you are moving your mass forward. So crazy Japanese people in their obsession. Asafa Powell, now he's a 3D kinematic visual, tied up with all kinds of probes and sensors in his body to show you what is working when he sprints. Kind of cool, right? Thank you, YouTube. So here he comes. When the legs are in the air, the obliques are in charge. General rule, right? So here comes this whole left side to swing that leg forward. Let me get my thing out of the way here. So when he hits, it's all rec fem. And most of the rec fem happens as he's pushing forward. So oblique is bringing the leg through, rec fem is pushing forward, and he's got some soleus work there. I'm sorry, not rec fem, fascius lateralis. There's rec fem when it swings through. Soleus. So when he comes by, hamstring, bicep femoris, bringing that leg down, hits, and when he pushes through, fascius lateralis is doing the work. I'll get a better one here, it's coming. Gastrocs and bicep femoris working together, hits, rec. Vastus lateralis, going to project forward, and then hamstring to do the leg curl up. Jump right on by. So looking at this, we need exercises that are going to get us to that point and work on those kind of things if we're really working on speed. So when we spring, what we're looking at when you push out of the blocks is we're going to watch the heels. I don't care about these angles here. Safa Paulo is big too. He's 6'2", 190. So he's a big dude. How big was Bolt at his best? 6'5", he's always 6'5". 168, 6'5", 168. How about Carl Lewis? Remember Carl Lewis back in the day? 6'1", he said if he ever weighed more than 161 pounds, he was not going to run well. So watch his left leg spring. Watch his heel move forward. And this is what we miss when we do our triple extension and things like that. Great push off the front leg. Watch the heel go in a horizontal fashion. Most people bring that leg up. They don't have the strength in this compartment here to push them forward. I call it a flick because that's what it looks like. Now he's gathered about like everyone else. How does he get so far? It's all that energy that he has stored in that tendon. So again, more crazy research stuff from the Japanese. Again, it's going to see the same thing. So when you have people that toe drag, what is actually happening if you're doing it right, rather than doing it because you saw it on YouTube or Instagram, his horizontal push is so hard that it actually drives his foot down into the ground. So again, you can see his mass is in front of his knee when he goes to push, but watch that heel flick down. So much so that it drives his foot into the ground. So in street shoes, he's projected himself about 4 feet when he hits the ground. That's pretty good. So here's Usain Bolt warming up to show you just playing around how it just happens for him. I'd be bad at that job. I'd have my phone out filming everything. Get fired in a heartbeat. So again, first movement is get his mass out in front. Once it's out in front, with minimal push off the back leg because he's just playing around, watch this heel spring him forward. And up. That's the magic right there. That's what gets him out. People say he's a slow starter. He's 6'5". It's hard to get out of the blocks at 6'5". Hard to get out of the blocks at 6 feet. Foot hits, gathers, energy loads, all just to take this next step, and that energy will move him forward. See how it brings him up, so it creates space for that second leg to come down? Again, he's just playing around. He's just warming up. I won't nerd out on those stuff. You guys have all seen this. So what does it look like in sport? Different illegal film that I have obtained. That's AJ Green. I don't think he plays anymore, does he? I think he's out.
Retired.
He retired?
Yeah.
He was good though, right? Good player? Big dude, 6'5". Watch his horizontal push and his spring. So he loads. Watch that heel move completely forward. Watch the second step move him completely forward. Completely horizontal fashion. Average athletes, that foot floats as soon as it comes off the ground. See how his foot goes that way? Most people, that foot comes straight up. They're not getting anything out of your ankle complex, which research has shown is responsible for about 70% of your power when you sprint. 70%. That's a lot, isn't it? So here's my guy. Big one here. When he pushes, watch how he drops down and pushes. Everything gets completely horizontal. See his heel drags forward, heel moves forward, heel moves forward, and drives out. That's what we're looking for. That's how you're going to get someone to run fast. Again, he doesn't lift weights, so we don't know what he can lift. Here's a bad one to show you how it can go bad. Same guy coming out of the blocks. Ooh, COVID days. Heel drives forward on his first step. Heel drives forward on his second step. Third step, heel drives forward, and then he loses it on his fourth step. See how his foot floated straight up on that one? He lost it. Then he's lost it from there on. So you can see the difference. So weighted sleds, I love them. I'm a 1080 fan. My entire indoor season, we just did weighted running. We did really well with it. But if you have too much weight on and your body position is bad, you are not getting better. You're just pushing a sled. Here's Christian Lemaitre. You guys remember Christian Lemaitre? Who's heard of Christian Lemaitre? Just me? So French sprinter, 19 years old, silver medalist, 200-meter dash. Not bad, huh? 19.7, I think he ran. So what did the French national team say? Great, let's get him in here. And what did they do with him?
Slow.
Lifted weights, got strong, never made finals again. That was it. That was the end of Christian Lemaitre. Here he is, pre-days, and how he trains. He's got a tire behind him. Again, France doesn't have great facilities like we have here. Oops. Watch his heel flick with the sled. See how his heel drags forward when he pulls out? So a limiting factor, if you are pulling sleds or pulling whatever, you've got to make sure that it's light enough to keep that flick, or else you're just doing a CrossFit exercise. You've got to keep the weight light enough so you can keep the tension in your foot and use your tendons and ligaments. The sled kind of takes some of the slack out of it, which is why it's kind of nice that you don't have constant tension, that it actually slides, so there's slack in the line, so you have the ability to create the tension in your foot and deal with the slack and then push. So this old school version here, some chains on a tire and him pushing out, actually works really well. In fact, 1080 made sure that that's a thing. They have a no fly weight setting where it's not a constant tension, so there's slack in the line, so when you push, you have to deal with the slack when you push out. Then we've got the heel rocker. That has to move in order to create the tension in your foot. That movement from that outside corner to the inside corner is what loads the tendon system in your foot so you actually get some spring. So here's Bolt just walking around. You can see how the inside of his shoe rolls in. I guess I was listening to Dire Straits when I made this. See that heel come in? That's universal in good sprinters. It's everyone. Everyone. So how do you develop it? Well, someone way smarter than me in Germany made these things called a blackboard. That cost me $200, sucker. Then my friend says, oh, I can 3D print that for you for $7. So what it is you can flip that over. Have you guys seen one of these before? So it's jointed together. So there's a heel and a forefoot, and there's a joint in between. There's Velcro on the bottom, and you can take the fulcrum and change positions. So in that rear foot, you can challenge your foot to come in. And then in the forefoot, you can challenge it to come in because you've got to get over the fulcrum. So it becomes a training tool. Anytime we put our foot on, or most of the time that we put our foot on the ground, we're on a blackboard because I'm constantly challenging that ability to get your heel in and the weight to your ball of your big toe. show you more examples here. So he's just doing a simple hip hike. So you can see they've got to tilt in, drop the forefoot down, and come up. They lost it at the end there. I'll show it again. Oops. Unstable, it's fast, so there's your environmental monitoring. Way faster than a Bosu ball or standing on a pipe or something like that.